Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Gwent, grabbing the Your Wish is Our Command achievement. This is to use 10 order charge effects in a single turn. This is going to require 2 very specific cards as well as a very specific deck type. So you want to make sure you make a new deck in the Northern Realms faction with the ability Mobilization. Then for our specific cards, you want to make sure you add this card, Visagurd, which is a pretty expensive card, but it's going to be the key to this achievement. And then the other card, which is going to help out a bunch, is going to be the Wyvern Scale Shield, which is going to be an artifact card. So make sure you add those 2 to your deck and drop that cash. Now, as for filling out the rest of the deck, pretty much everything else in the Northern Realms starter deck should work for this. You want to prioritize on running multiple copies of every card, as well as cards that give you boost effects. So make sure you look through your card descriptions and prioritize those cards that can boost not only themselves but other cards. And the key to this is going to be a card called Prince Stennis, which should be one of the best cards in the Northern Realms faction in the starter cards that are given to you. Once you have the deck put together, make sure you hop into a private game with a boosting partner or friend. I recommend you be the one to send the invite because it's really helpful if you go first. Start the game up. First order of business is to make sure your starting hand is good. The 3 most important cards in your opening hand have to be Visagurd, Wyvern Scale Shield, and Prince Stennis. Other than that, the rest of the cards in your hand, the remaining 7, have to be unit cards. So as long as you have something like that, you should be good for the rest of the strategy. Alright, once you get into the game with this opening hand, the first move you want to make is going to be to summon a unit that doesn't have any boost effects. So a good candidate for this are usually going to be any of the machine units you draw. Make sure you play those, and then make sure you use the tactical advantage that you get for going first. Blow that up, and that should give whatever unit you played a boost. As for your boosting partner, the only thing you have to have them do is to just make sure they summon units and try to get their point total above 10. And whilst doing that, make sure they do not hinder you by obviously trying to debuff any of your guys as well as destroy any of your guys. From there, our next few turns are going to look like this. You want to first prioritize summoning any units that do not have boost abilities, and then any units that have any searching abilities. For example, Blue Stripes Commando is a good one for this. Once you summon it and wait a turn, you can use its order effect to summon another one from your deck. Your hand should have the bare minimum of units you are going to need for the achievement, which is going to be 9 as well as 1 artifact. However, if you have any units that can bring more units out from your deck, the more backup you have for later in case something goes wrong. If you do happen to come across boost effects, make sure you are using them on units that don't already have boosts on them, because your goal at the end of the day is to make sure every unit has a boost on it. Alright, once you have about 5 units or so on the field, that is the time to play Wyvern Scale Shield. This is going to be an artifact card whose effect you can use a total of 4 times. Every time you use its effect, you can place a boost on any card on the field. So this is going to be a great card in order to boost your guys one by one. So from this point on, make sure you use its effect every turn on any card that doesn't have a boost. In addition to that, just keep summoning units and keep using any boost effects if applicable. And then other than that, you just want to keep playing out your hand until you are down to your last 2 cards, which should be Prince Stennis and finally Visagurd. So if everything went according to plan, by the time you are down to the last 2 cards in your hand, you should have a minimum of 7 units out on the field. You should also be at the point where your shield has 1 effect left in it. So going into the turn where we are down to our last 2 cards, you want to open up this turn by using your Deckmaster ability. Your Deckmaster ability is going to be an ability called Mobilization, and what that allows you to do is you can target any unit on your field that you have a second copy of in your deck. It's going to summon that second copy and automatically give it a boost. So that's going to be 1 more that we can use for the strategy. Then you want to end by summoning Prince Stennis, and what Stennis is going to do is if you deploy it in your ranged row, you are able to give any 4 units on the field a boost. So make sure you apply a boost to anyone who doesn't already have one. And then finally, you want to make sure you boost Stennis himself using the last ability on the shield. The shield should now be depleted, and you should be at a point where you have 9 units on the field at least. Let your opponent do whatever they want for their turn, but the key to this is to make sure they have enough units with power levels combining to at least over 10. Then for your last move, what you want to do is you want to make sure you summon Visagurd. If everything went right, Visigodd is going to gain a total amount of charges equal to the number of units who have boosts on your field. So the minimum you want is going to be 10. If everything went according to strategy, he should have exactly 10 or more, and then all you have to do to get the achievement is to just make sure you use his charged order ability on any units on your opponent's field. So just make sure you keep damaging things until you run out of charges, and if you happen to use 10 or more, you should be good for this achievement. Very specific, but that's going to be the best strategy. There it is, 15 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.